Simon, first game, solid victory over the Sheffield Eagles at the Shea. It was a bit of a gritty game, down to the wire. Is that the sort of game that you sort of were thankful that you got with the maybe lack of pre-season games, that you got straight up to speed with a really gritty victory?
Thankful we got the win in the end. I thought for 30 minutes we were very good. And then a period of just okay, to be fair. In fact, probably up until minute 78 or something when Salty took the intercept, then we could feel comfortable. Credit Sheffield though, they were good. But I thought it was quite evident they'd had 3 pre-season games with, all their blokes getting a decent amount of time. I thought they were just a bit more grind ready than we were. And came out. I probably came out on top in the physical contest over that 80 minutes, but I think we had enough. I think we did enough to deserve the win, but I think I said straight after I couldn't have moaned too much if Corey found the winger at the end there and they scored in the corner. We were our own worst enemy for large parts of that. So lots to improve on, but we'll take the 2 points round 1. I think it's the first time we won for 3, maybe 4 seasons. So we'll take it. It's a different feeling. Obviously, you go all pre-season, your anticipation towards build-up and playing that first round, and when you start with a loss next to it, it just creates a bit of ill feeling from the very off. So, happy with that one. We just move on to the next one now. It's just about being better. We're better this week than we were last.
We raced away into a 16-0 lead earlier there in the first half. Was there a bit of disappointment maybe that we didn't kick on, or do you think that was maybe, like we said, a lack of maybe game fitness, that we didn't have the concentration to really put our foot down there?
Yeah, I thought we, when Douglas got sin-binned, I don't think we managed that very well. We gave away penalties in that period, turned over a bit of cheap ball play, 1, play 2 type stuff, which didn't help us. So you could argue we could have gone in at half-time with more, but more disappointing than getting more points was conceding a very soft 6 just before half-time when I didn't feel like Sheffield deserved anything out of that first half. The good thing for us is the tries scored, or tries conceded rather, all fixable, nothing outrageous or no big holes in any systems sort of thing, just individuals need to do better.
And then the decision to take the penalties when the points were on offer, which ultimately ended up nudging us ahead when they were sort of pressing rather than being level or even 2 points behind. Are you pleased that those decisions worked out in the end?
Yeah.
Maybe it's something that we've learnt on past seasons when we might not have taken those points.
Yes and no. There's 2 sides of the coin on that. You get maybe a penalty on play 4 or 5, bit of fatigue in there. You're in kick range, early season. Smart thing probably is take the points, but we're a good team, and when we're on song, we probably will push it a little bit because we will back ourselves to get over the line. But as I say, with the lack of, I don't want to say cohesion because I think we are quite a cohesive team, but I think, just that lack of minutes under our belts. I didn't want us. I felt like we were pushing it a little bit, pushing our passes and just wanting to get the money play on rather than just taking our notes, taking some shots and getting them later in the game. So the idea was there, just while they're available and the kicks were easy enough, we'll take them. And sometimes that works out for you, and sometimes it doesn't. I mean, it wouldn't have worked out had they scored at the end. But we put ourselves in a position where they had to chase, I suppose, and that's probably why Corey has to throw that ball and Salty goes away, and the rest is history. But it's something that's situational. It's not always, I'll send a message, sometimes I don't get there quick enough, but I'm looking at them, I'm watching their body language and how they feel about things and what's probably happened in the sets leading up. As I say, I think on game day at weekend we probably pushed it a little bit, that's why we were erring more towards getting the 2 points, and Keys is proven to be a very good kicker so far, hasn't he, so we'll back him in.
And then to seal the game with that length of the field effort that showed the opportunism and the speed and the pace and the cutthroat nature of the team, that they can go the length of the field in the last 2 minutes. So it was fantastic to see a big crowd there get it treated to a really exciting moment. What was going through your head when he took that intercept? Were you more sort of the case of get down there and grind the game out, or were we happy to let them just flow?
A little bit of relief in the first instance because I felt like that were a bit of a all or nothing play, and obviously we come out the better side of it. I thought it was a reward for Salty. I thought he had a really good game, strong game for us. But yeah, the lads flying upfield, all full of energy to try and go and get some points is a good thing to see. And I think over the last couple of years we're starting to get a bit of speed through our backs. I mean, we probably only had one bloke maybe 2-3 years ago that could go the length from their own end. I think we've got a few will be able to do that this year at some point. But we should have scored it on that play if we'd have just gone hands rather than the long balls. But yeah, we got over some smart play from Keezy and Jake got to get a brace on debut. So a lot of positives in amongst, but I think the people that come and watched, the crowd you mentioned was good, but I think it was an entertaining game, and at the end of it, that's the part that's important. If it's 40-0 or the scores like that where they blow out, people are not that keen to come back because the heart doesn't race quite as much. But yeah, when it's like that and it's nip and tuck, I think everyone gets their money's worth.
How did the boys pull up from the Sheffield game? Any injuries to report? Any news about players maybe coming back into contention?
Cav referee took Cav out. I don't know if you noticed that. Got him. Got a bit of a toe issue there, so we'll have to see how Cav goes, which would be a loss to us if he don't make it. Who else? Anyone else? No, I think we're all right for game day injuries. Obviously, knocks, bits and bobs, but nothing out of the ordinary. Then Aribi pulled his quad last week. He'll be nip and tuck for this week. We won't be risking him if it's there's deemed any risk in there. It's too early to be thinking about that. Tibbs, I think this one might come a week too soon as well, but we'll see how he looks. Kingy's got another week of training under his belt, so we'll have a look at that tonight as well. Other than that, have I missed anyone? Injury-wise, no, I think that's it. In decent shape, which we need to be with a pretty small squad.
And we'll move on to Sunday then, arguably one of the tougher away trips of the year, maybe a good time to go there. We saw Featherstone play Keighley away with a big score away at the Cougars' first championship game. It's their first home game, it's the first big test really for us. Is this a bit of a chance to lay a marker down of what we want to achieve, or is it sort of like a finding what level we can play at this early in the year?
Yeah, it's really early in the year. I think winning would be great. I think for me, focusing on improving and getting a better performance is the important bit, and see where that takes us. But yeah, I don't think we're going to pin our hopes on laying down markers at round 2. We've got a bit of time yet to establish what sort of team we are and where we're going to be. Feather good. I watched the game against Keighley. I felt a bit for Keighley. Fev will do that to a number of teams this year. They're a very good team. They've invested heavily in the playing squad, and they're openly talking about what they want to achieve this year, and they weren't a million miles off obviously last year. They've been a solid championship team for a long time, always at the top end. So yeah, it's a tough ask for Keighley coming up from League One, the first one, bit of a baptism of fire. And in the end, I just think, although they had a spirited start, the quality in that team, that Featherstone team, shone through, and they were quite ruthless as well, weren't they? So yeah, we've got it. We're up against it. They're a very big team. I don't think anyone matches them for size. So we have to come up with ways of how we can use our smaller, more mobile bodies against them, don't we? It's a tough test, but look, it's really early in the season. I'm sure Keighley aren't going to put the cue on the rack now and call it quits. We're just going to go and give it our best shot this week, and I think the key to it for us is when we've played Fev in the past, to make sure we get our game off, play our way. When we've gone and sort of succumbed to just trying to lump it out with their bigger bodies, we've come out second best more often than not. So we have to be a bit cute about how we approach it. But yeah, looking forward to it. It's definitely a good test for us to see where we're at now. But it's not I don't think it's a yardstick just yet. I think for us, particular pre-season issues, lads out on World Cup and coming back late, cancellation of friendlies, not as much minutes on the field. I think we probably would have liked a few more minutes under the belt going into this one. But yeah, it is what it is. We'll go and just give it the best count ourselves we can.
Pushed them close on a couple of occasions last year. Obviously, their squad's a lot different, our squad's a lot different. But you must take confidence from previous trips over there, even though we haven't won at Featherstone in quite a long time, that we can compete with what some consider to be the best in the competition. Yeah,
we want to be in it. We want to compete. Hopefully, we'll get an opportunity in the game to show our qualities and test them. Look, there's no shame in going to Featherstone and losing for anybody, but for me there's a bit of shame in going and not playing how you want to play, so that's our focus, and looking after the ball better than we did the other day will be a start.
And finally then, Featherstone against Halifax at Post Office Road. These are the the big ties in the Championship that everyone, maybe not a Championship Rugby League fan, sort of takes notice on, keeps an eye on. It's a fantastic spectacle and a great way to promote the Championship to the wider Rugby League community. You must be hoping to see a big crowd over there, Fax fans and Rovers fans, and it'd be a fantastic atmosphere.
Yeah, I'm sure there will be. It's generally always a good atmosphere there. The clubs, there seems to be no love lost between the two for whatever reason. A bit of history and whatnot. You know, it weren't too long ago when we were quite similar. They've made some real progress, and we're all trying to catch them up, aren't we? So, you know, credit to them for their bit. Hopefully the match day is good. We get plenty of fans across there, and I think it's going to be cold but half decent. So, yeah, it should be an alright day for us.
And you're showcasing the Championship. Just a few words on what it means to the league as a whole to have these big games between two massive clubs. I just think it's boring, to be honest, Faz. Every year I say it gets harder every year. I think, yes, Featherstone, rightly so, favourites this year, up there with Toulouse, and you know, underneath that, I think there's more teams than ever really who are more than capable of doing something this year. So expect a lot of games like the Sheffield one where they come down to the wire, and you know, by the end of the year we'll get to where we deserve to be in the end. But I do think it could quite possibly come down to that last round of fixtures might decide a couple of places in that six, and not only the order but a couple that where they might drop out. You don't know. It could be that close this year, and I think that's the good bit about Championship. Super League, there's still quite a bit of disparity between maybe the top 4 teams and the rest, whereas Championship seems to be pretty tight now, and you know, it certainly makes for an exciting competition.